Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and today I'm doing a bit of a different kind of video because I want to share what I sort of learned so far working with the mixed mold and colorings and what I plan on doing moving forward. Now, I know a lot of you are using the mixed mold. We also know Alumilite has come out with their own, J. Diction has their Resincrete, and there's a bunch of other companies that have out similar products. And part of what I've been doing is playing with colors to see what is going to work, what's not going to work. Now, the next interesting part is sealer, because I'm very interested in knowing what sealers to use with these products, how well they stand up to the elements, specifically being outdoors and potentially being in areas that otherwise may not be the best recommended places for things. I've got a cluster of different products on my table here. I have not used all of them. I'm in the process of kind of going through, but it was important for me to do this video. I don't know what experiences you have, and I think the other thing that we need to keep in mind sometimes is where are the pieces going to land? What is the climate like? Is it hot and humid all the time? Is it cold? Is it a mix of weather? I mean, here in Canada right now, I'm getting such a mix of weather, it isn't even funny anymore. And I think, you know, that has an impact on how pieces will stand up. And I know when I was doing my paint pours, and they were made with MDF or their wood, and I had coated them with protectant or, you know, a sealer of some sort. And I said to people, I said, like, put this in a place where it's not going to get a lot of rain, it's not going to be hit by the elements because of the type of wood I was using. And you don't always know what the elements are going to do. A product will give you their best indicator of, is it an indoor or outdoor sealer, you know, how many coats you have to put on. Like, there's a list of things you have to take into consideration. So I just wanted to cover some of these products that I've got and also mention something else I'm going to be doing because I'm curious. So you can tell I like to play, and I'm going to keep playing because it's important to me, and I want to be able to give my best, you know, input or my best directions to people who buy my pieces. This is what you need to keep in mind. If you don't follow these, you know, insights, these directions, these tips, then I can't, you know, support if something goes wrong with the piece because I've, you know, told you what to do. I give things out with my resin pieces because I want people to know these are things you need to keep in mind because it is resin. All right. Do you remember the turtle I made? Do you remember this guy? And in him, I had used the Stampin' Up! Stamping ink to color him. Now, if you can remember back, you will notice there's a change in this guy. I have put 5 coats of the mixed mold gloss on this turtle, on the top. On the bottom, you notice how he looks, and I'm going to explain part of the reason he looks the way he does. I used, I believe it was this Varathane diamond wood finish, and you may be going, what the heck are you even thinking about putting this on? I did go into the Home Hardware and I did ask them about getting something. They did recommend this. I know it's meant for wood, but you know, I'm a daring kind of human being. I'm willing to give it a go. So I put this on the bottom. Now, he is discolored. Where did I put this guy? Well, I decided I was going to throw this totally into the elements. And I put him in my garden, and I kind of tucked him a little bit underneath a plant. He is sitting on dirt. He is getting wet because when I water my flowers, he's getting some of it. So back here where he's protected, we're doing okay. However, when he's out and he's getting wet, he's not so okay. There's 2 things that go through my mind with this. One, the coloring that I'm using, so the Stampin' Up, maybe I shouldn't be using it in my pieces. The other thing that goes through my mind is I put 5 coats of the mixed mold gloss sealer on this guy. And we had talked a little bit about, you know, I'd done my first coat and some of the color came off, and I thought, okay. And then the second coat went on, a little bit came off with that. And I guess it got a little bit better as I got up higher with my number of coats. However, he is still being impacted by the elements, by the water, and I'm not sure why. I seriously would have thought 5 coats on this would have been enough. So again, is it the products I'm putting in to color this guy that's causing the issue with the mix to mold sealer? He's, you know, discolored on the bottom. Is that because he's been sitting on dirt, because he's getting damp, because of the colorant I'm putting in it? So there's a variety of different things that could be going on with my turtle. I'm going to be putting him back outside, and I want to see how he looks after a month. He's only been outside for a few days. I want to leave him outside for about a month and then come back and see if he's faded anymore. And I sort of have a plan of taking pictures of him every few days so I can see the progression of what's happening with him. Okay? So that's my turtle. That's the story with him right now. Next I have this angel. Again, I love this mold. I think it's such a cool mold. I have been sealing this with the Verifane Diamond Wood finish. Crystal clear, non-yellowing. And I have done 3 coats. I'm doing it in 2 parts. So this part has been done 3 times. I've only gotten 1 coat on this so far, and I plan on doing 2 more. And then I want to put this outside in the elements, and I want to see how it stands up. Will I be putting it in my garden on the dirt? Maybe, maybe not, but I do want to get it so it gets sun and it gets wet. Because again, I want to see what it does. You know, if I'm looking for a really good sealer, I'm not going to say the perfect sealer, but a really good sealer, I have to see, you know, how these things stand up. So this piece hasn't seen any of the outdoors, and it's not completely finished yet. But it will be interesting. And I'm trying to remember, I don't know what I used. I might have used the Stamping Up on this one. I can't remember. I can't remember. So anyways, we'll see. Next. So I got a new mold. It looks like this in shape. Let me get back. Okay. It is meant to be a planter, which is really cool. I wanted something. See, I'm going to do something funky with this using resin, but we won't get into that right now. So I used 3 of the Stamping Up stamping inks in this piece. I mixed the colorant into the water and then put the water into the mix to mold. So it's not like I just sort of put droplets and then poured mix to mold over it. I didn't. It was mixed right into the mix to mold. So it came out of its mold today. You're going to see this video a few days later, but this is how it's looking right now. I want to show you the bottom of this for a very specific reason. So here's the bottom. I want to get into line. This tattoo was to go on the bottom of this, and for love nor money, I could not get the silly thing off, and it took a lot to get it put onto my arm. So I don't know what the deal was with this tattoo, but it was not wanting to work. However, the important part about this is how the bottom looks. I ended up taking this piece out because as I was trying to get the tattoo on, the sides pulled apart, and I thought, you can't pour anything on, you got to take this out. The whole bottom was this kind of coloring without the white dots in it. And I kind of was surprised at that. I thought, well, I mixed this right in. I did it yesterday. I took it out today. This was exposed to air the entire time, but the water pulled the color right out of that. And it's almost like it's a magic trick, and I don't get it. But hey, it is a water-based product, so maybe that's got something to do with it. Is it going to, as it dries out, bring the color back? I don't think so. But it's lending itself to, if I'm going to use the Stamping Up stamping ink in this and it has the potential of being impacted by water, by sealant, by whatever, then I might have to stop using it. Because I just can't deal with it doing this. I mean, it's taking away. I mean, I'm going to do something to the bottom of this once it's dry. I'm going to let it sit for a couple of days. I'm going to figure out something to do with the bottom of this, and I'm going to be curious to know how much more, you know, color comes out of this. And I'm also thinking of stenciling around this. But I really want to find a way of sealing it. So if it, you know, does get any water on it, change color to, you know, white. So obviously I got too much water on here and it's seeped down the side, right? So that's not helpful, is it? I wanted to point that out to you because I don't want you to be making mistakes or, you know, as again, doing a really nice piece and it going sideways on you. Because, yeah, you don't want that. So I think more of the color is going to come out of it, and I'm going to have to, you know, sort of think a little harder on what I'm going to put on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some of the products I have. Some I've just recently bought, and some I've had for a while. And part of the reason I've had them for a while is because of my paint pours. And depending on what I was painting, I needed something easy to, you know, seal, protect, whatever. So the Varathane diamond wood finish, I've used that before. I got a new can of it because I wanted to try it out on these specific product, you know, this specific mix to mold. I don't have any of the J-Diction, the Illumilite. I want to try because I don't know. Right, and as much as it says for wood, yeah, I'm willing to try. And Varathane's a really good name. I also have this Zinnser, which I've had for a while, and it is a traditional finish and sealer. It's clear transparent. It says dries in minutes, great for hobbies, crafts, toys, picture frames, small woodwork, floor, and furniture touch-up. Deep finish is non-toxic and hypoallergenic. So I plan on trying this. I also picked up from Michael's the Folkart Home Decor Wax. Someone had mentioned to me that they had tried this as well, so I thought, well, you know, I'm willing to give it a go. I don't know, it's water-based, non-toxic. I just want to see if it says on here. It's to seal and protect. Can also use on raw wood. Now I'm just moisture and heavy use for 7 days. Clean while wet with soap and water. Okay. So it says to keep waxed surfaces free of moisture and heavy use for 7 days. So it must have a curing process. I'm not sure if this is a liquid or not. I'm thinking it might be. I have not opened it yet. It says it's clear transparent. All right. We know we've got the mix to mold. So I've been putting that on things. I also picked up from Bluestone House. It's a French country vintage beeswax. I got this at Home Hardware as well. I have not tried it. I'm going to give it a go because, again, I want to play. One thing I'm really curious about trying is Flex Seal. I don't know if you've ever seen the commercials for them. They advertise that, you know, they can pretty much seal anything and you don't have to worry about water getting in anywhere. I want to try this. I figure this might be a really good test to do. So I plan on, it's a spray. Obviously I'll be doing any spraying outside in my garage where it's safe for me to do so. And I will have a mask on when I'm using this stuff because I just don't want anything getting into my lungs. Anyway, it says it stops leaks fast. So this is going to be a really good one to potentially try on something like this piece and see how it stands up. I have another Zinnser product here. Get back. Bullseye Shellac, a traditional finish and sealer. I'm going to be trying this one. It says a classic finish for wood, trim, paneling, and furniture. It enhances the natural beauty of wood. So you know what? Even though it's for wood, I'm willing to give it a go. Because again, I'm on the hunt for something that's going to actually work. The last piece or product I have to show you, and I took it out of its container. I've had this for, what, 2 years now? And as you can see, I haven't used a lot of it. And it's still really nice and runny, which is great. It is called Beautitone Hard Rock. It is a top coat, interior, exterior I've got on this. And let dry for 24 hours before a second coat. So I took it out of its container for ease of me using it. And I plan on using this. So I'm thinking it's for outdoors, like for stones and that type of thing. So I want to give that a go and see how it measures up. Like everything else, I've been on a bit of a, a real kick with, what do I cover these things with? How do I protect them? Where can I put them? And I think it's important that we figure, some of this out. Whether we do it together or whether you do small test pieces and just determine, what's going to work. What's your best plan of action? Where are you going to tell people to keep these things? It's just really important to me. I've made 2 of the angel pieces, pot holders for my sister, and she had asked me in the 2 I made for her to drill holes in them because she wants to put in live plants. So, I got to think about that, and I may end up wanting to seal that at least on the bottom and where the hole is with resin to protect it. So I'm going to have to tell her, like, give this a go, see what happens when you put dirt in these. They were colored with paint, water-based paint, so they may be okay, and the sealer may be, just fine on them. I don't know. But I'm going to tell her, like, monitor it, see how it works out. What's going to happen to these? Because again, if we're selling them, they got to be right. The other thing I'm planning on doing, and I may do a video on this, I want to use only, and I mean only, the colorants, the pigments that I got with the mix to mold and the Alumilite. I don't have any, as I said, I don't have any of the J. Diction Resin Crete anymore. I want to use the J. Diction, the Alumilite, and the mix to mold colorants. I want to do some test pieces and being specific on this is just the J. Diction, this is just the mix to mold, and this is just the Alumilite. I'm not mixing them with any other products. I'm going to have specific, like 3 projects. We'll do them together. And we'll go through and we'll just sort of test out. My plan will be to mix the colorants right into the products themselves. I'm not going to just put droplets here and there. I want it mixed right in. And we're going to see, are they impacted by water? Because we've had a bit of a conversation about what is in the product, the colorant, the pigment, and is whatever's in it what is going to keep the color. And that's something I'm kind of curious about now a little bit more because of what's happening with the pieces that I'm using the Stampin' Up! Ink in. You'll have to stay tuned if you're curious. I would love to know comments on sort of what I've shown you, what experiences you've had, and if there's one product that you've been using that you feel really confident with. I guess the other thing is, where have you been putting your pieces? Are they staying in the house, out of the elements? Have you been brave enough to take a piece and just go, here, you're in the garden, we'll see what happens? I'm curious about that. And if you have done that, what have you put on it, and have you been monitoring it to see what's going to happen, or has anything happened to it? If I were to think of what the ultimate thing to coat these with would be, I'd say resin. Just to protect it, but it gets kind of challenging when you're dealing with a piece that's this shape, because to me I would have to brush it on, or as I did in my other video, I'd have to support it and then coat it with the resin. But again, I'd want to be really careful and probably start with a UV coat just so that it doesn't, pull color out too fast and furious. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to share sort of my findings to date. Apparently I'm, like a dog on a bone with this stuff, and I want to figure it out, and I want to share with you. thank you for watching this video. Thank you for any comments with any suggestions, what you have found, because I think it's helpful not only to me, but to anyone else who's watching the video, and gives them some ideas. Or, you know, you've done something that's worked really, really well, or you haven't gone like I have to the extreme and, you know, put something out in the garden and hope for the best. I want to find something that's going to work really well for people, and that's why I'm going to the extremes I am. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for, you know, commenting, liking, and subscribing. I hope you're having a great day, whatever creative endeavors you're up to. Take care, and bye for now.